Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Seams and Downs, where youth sports meets the real talk. At least I hope it's real talk, along with real parents and, of course, real gear. I'm your host, Doc Metter, and today's episode is literally a can't miss special. It's going to be a very special episode tonight because I've been up for a long time on as a result of preparing for this, right? So it's Amazon Prime Day, not just a single day, but it's July 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Okay, so a 4-day period, but it's Amazon Prime Day 2025. And whether you're a baseball dad or a softball mom or a sports parent, whatever, what have you, you'll find something that's beneficial out of this particular episode. All right, all of us who are just trying, to keep cleats on our kids, hey, without breaking the bank, that's what this episode is about. So we've got you covered. Sit back, relax, and take a listen. As a sports family with having a son in football and a child in travel ball with softball, what's so interesting is that, initially I'd thought, okay, well, we're going to play on, we're going to play some sports. That's fine. What I was not prepared for was, okay, well, yeah, sure, we're going to play sports, but there's going to be registration fees. There's going to be, potential hotel visits. There's going to be travel. With travel comes gas. With gas comes mileage on the vehicle. With what goes on the vehicle, you've got to take care of and, provide maintenance for the vehicle because air does go out. And, of course, things like that happen, right? So, there may be opportunity. There may be times where you've got to pay for, tournaments, and of course, the gear that comes along with that, right? So, you're in essence, I know if you're like me and your kid plays, you're technically funding a small college program, if you will, right? So, interesting enough there. That's why Prime Day is such a blessing. Right? I'm hoping that you agree with me in terms of that because I know that I found it beneficial with family like ours. Where you live and you live by the budget and you work that budget and that budget works for you, and so that's why it's really really important for us. Another reason is that you're getting top tier brands. Under Armour, Easton, Wilson, Rawlings, Adidas, Franklin, these top tier brands, all at prices that don't make you question whether or not you need to eat. Okay, it's really impactful. Well, it's been wild watching some of these deals and some of these sales. And what I'm referencing is that this year's Prime Day, there have been some really crazy markdowns, some as high as 60%. I know that I was scrolling, really really late at last night. I could not go to sleep I could not go to sleep for the life of me. I don't know what's going on, but I just could not sleep. So I'm sitting over here scrolling through my phone. My wife's asleep. All the kids are asleep. It's quiet in the house. Yes, I know you're not supposed to, you're supposed to put your phone down when you get ready before bed, so on and so forth. But man, I'm sitting over here going through all this stuff, and I'm fired up. And as I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, well, I wonder who else is just scrolling through 7 or 8 pages of Prime deals on sports equipment. So I started taking screenshots, right? And what I found beneficial about the screenshots is that all you're doing is I'm screenshotting them, I'm putting them together, and I actually made a little YouTube short, and I put that out, and there's been almost 250 people that have observed it. Again, there have been some really good deals with Amazon Prime today. I'll walk through here in a moment. I'm physically going to share a screen, and so once I share that screen, we'll be able to navigate through that. Because these deals change, right? This is about timing. This is just the right time to catch these deals. Why? I asked myself that too. It's like, okay, well, why would they do it right now? Well, guess what? My son's preseason football. He's not fully engaged with the football season yet, although practices are there. Okay, this kid goes through shorts left and right, holes in them. Shirts get torn, things get tugged, he came in and was doing some line work, and of course it's helmets only, right? I've talked about that, but still the it's like, what did you do to your collar on your shirt, man? Like your shirt's hanging all the way down here to your goat hair, right? What's going on with that? And so, he tells, oh, well, so-and-so was, we were on the lawn today, and so-and-so grabbed my shirt, and I kind of got away with it. And I'm just like, okay, well, all right. So this is, again, those Amazon Prime days where they come in handy, because there's been athletic shirts and athletic wear. I know I've bought some shorts. I've been adding stuff to the carts because this is, again, that timing deal where things are really beneficial. And we can give this back to the kids. The deals rotate. That's what's so cool about this. It's almost like a game. Think about that. It's kind of like a little game. What I was observing at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning is not the same things that I, observed here this evening. Right? I've got it pulled up right now, right in front of me. I'm looking at it. I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is pretty neat. Some of these things are lightning deals where you only have a certain short period of time. So if you've got a network of friends that are monitoring this, and you've got a text group, a mom group, or a dad group, to be like, look, hey, check out the bats. Just tell check out you've got the hour on with Amazon. Check out the bats. I don't think it's that crucial, but I guarantee you, with what I've seen with Travel Ball and some of the parents and how how involved they are, I'm just going to use the term involved. How involved they are. Oh yeah, I'd be willing to bet that you've got groups that are out there that are like, hey, you got this hour, I need you to check out for this deal, so on and so forth. And I'd be willing to bet that that's going on out there. If you are doing that, hey, reach out to us, let us know. I think that's pretty cool. Again, I think it's pretty cool. I am not that. How would I say? I am not that invested into it. Although I have enjoyed, sporadically or periodically coming in and just checking to see what's changed. It's kind of a game. It's fun. Again, and so we have the timing piece. Some are lightning deals. Deals change, and then of course some are actually limited stock. You may have 5,000 T-shirts, and what's so cool is that Amazon will indicate how what percentage is actually gone, which is pretty cool too. I can see some hustle behind that, because you're kind of like, oh, 47% of these are gone. I better go ahead and put these in my cart. That way I don't miss out on this deal. I can see some of that too. So it's good marketing, good merchandising. I think that's pretty neat. But let's talk about baseball and softball gear deals real quick. So, gloves. Let's just talk about the gloves, okay? So I saw earlier today, they had the Wilson A2000 and the A500 series gloves. And right now we were seeing them up to 30% off on Prime. Wild stuff, right? And in addition to that, these gloves, my daughter plays with an A500 Wilson series. Wilson series A500, I should say. I may have gotten that backwards, but it's tomatoes, and it's a little late. And again, I'm working off of maybe an hour and a half of sleep. I don't know why I'm not sleeping, but I'm just not sleeping. I'm just up. I don't know if it's just nerves, stress, what, but not sleeping. So basically, the A500, the A2000, really, really good gloves. I know that Danny's had it for several years, ever since she's been playing T-ball. But these are definitely good for 10U, between 10U and definitely 18U, athletes, right? So good stuff. You've also got the Easton Pro Series youth gloves, and some of those were down to $49.99. An awesome glove for beginners. Right? From beginner to intermediate, that's a great glove. Earlier on, There were some bats. All right, the bats particularly caught my eye. Sure, you're not going to find the ghost out there, right? You're not. I didn't see any of that. But we are going to jump into Amazon a little bit, and we're going to explore this. We're going to explore this here in a moment as well. But the bats is what caught my eye, particularly this one. You had the Louisville Slugger Meta USSA bat, which was 100. They had marked it $100 off retail. That's a big deal for travel ball players. That's a pretty substantial deal. You could, if a team out there was looking for a team bat, $100 off, that's really good, and it's a Louisville Slugger. You had the Easton ADV 360 was also part of the Lightning deal lineup. But in those instances, you got to check fast. That stuff was out there. Bat bags, catcher's gear. You had that stuff that was out there. I saw it today, and I've seen these big. The girls know them, or I know that baseball and softball players know them as the Boomba bags. Okay, these Boomba rolling bags. 40% off on select colors for some of those, right? And those bags are tanks. I've seen them. I've seen little 8U players walking around with them, and those bags are bigger than they are. But at any rate, these are the specials that were going on during the Amazon Prime Day for 2025. So be mindful of that stuff. You had the Rawlings catcher gear, right? So this youth gear was on sale, and it was actually marked down to the $119 per set. And I want to say, if memory serves me correctly, it was the entire set: front plate, mask, your shin guards, all of that stuff was there, and all under $130. And to be quite honest, that's actually the lowest that I've seen all year in the year 2025. They also had things like training tools. Those training tools were out there. Look, one of the biggest things is I love the 7x7 batting net. Danny will take this batting net. It's literally 7 foot tall, 7 foot wide. Some of you have seen them. And you put a tee in front of it, and you just bat into it. Danny loves it. I love it. She goes out there and she gets her reps in. So, it's all about the reps when we're not on the field, where we're not in the field house. Danny's getting these reps in. It's very, very consistent, and we stay consistent with just reminding her, hey, did you bat today? Did you get your reps in? What do you got to do? And so it's that mindfulness, it's that that consistency, and we're working with that. But let me tell you about this 7x7. Danny's already. We are. How should I say it? It's sitting in my garage right now, and it's full of all the softballs. I mean, Danny will go out there and she will hit 3 buckets, 4 buckets, 5 buckets of full of nothing but softballs. And normally what she'll do is, after she gets through with her bucket, she'll reload them, and she'll go back and she'll hit again. Just constantly getting those reps in, perfecting that swing, really making sure, that she's going through the motion, so on and so forth. That way it's like clockwork. Okay. Just clockwork. So in this instance, Danny has not, all the balls are still in the net. So the net is just right in the middle of the traffic for the garage, and of course everybody's got to walk around it. But we're talking about the balls, so let's talk about those softballs. Those softballs were on sale. I mean, they had they had a Rawlings softball. They had glowing softballs. These things I'm talking about a bucket of 12 for. I saw earlier this morning, something like it was less than $90 for a bucket of 12, and these are bona fide approved softballs for use, USSSA, and other organizations that have approved these things. You heard me talk about the 7x7. That was up there. However, They had a skills pitch back, but they also had a skills field back, the one that bounces back to them, and it can bounce, and once it bounces, it'll be a grounder or a pop fly, or it simulates that type of deal. You can angle it, so on and so forth. But that was out there. The pitch back, the skills, and we're not talking about SKILLZ. We're talking about SKLZ, Skills, the brand. It was on sale for $54 for Prime Day. You had reaction balls that were on there, weight balls for training. You had T-stands, portable mounds were also featured. And this is perfect for the backyard. Put it out there and let it rod. I know that's exactly what my wife and I do. Christine, another, a softball coach herself, that's exactly what we do. And we'll go out there and we can chat it up. We'll provide some encouragement and everything. But these things right here is like a trampoline, right? For a kid that wants to play this sport, they'll go out and do it. They'll find a way, and they'll find the time to use this stuff. And now that timing is just right to try to get this stuff going. There was also football and speed training gear that was out there earlier this morning. The protective gear, they had the shut helmets, they had the shoulder pads, between 20 and 30% off, especially in the youth sizes. So if you have any fall football planned or on deck, now's the time to be looking at that type of thing. I get it, that the fact that this is you're taking, and I will say this, caveat here, you're trying some of that stuff on. Particularly with football players, I get it. You want to be around it. You want to see it. You want to try that stuff on. You're taking a risk with a no touch, no try on sale. I get it, and because I hear that all the time from Christine. I'm like, oh, that's a pretty nice shirt. I can order that offline. You might want to try that on. I'm a big dude, and I mean, you guys can see it on the screen, and so I'm a rather large fella, and so trying those things on. There's certain things that you just don't. There's just certain things that you've identified a comfort level for, and maybe purchasing some of that stuff is maybe not your comfort level, and that's understandable. Cleats. The Shock Doctor mouth guards. I will say this about the mouth guards. If you see a sale on the mouth guards, look, folks, I had this one experience myself. I was very, very upset. Ben had just started playing football. First year of football. We go to the first game. It's hot. It's fall. We're getting out there, and I'll be doggoned. When we get out there, the field is about an hour and 15 minutes away. We get there early because I'm an early guy. If you're not 30 minutes early, you're late. That's the mentality. But you know what? When we walked out to that field, and right as the boys were starting to mount up and get ready to get out there on that gridiron, Ben does not have a mouth guard. My heart dropped because I'm like, you've got 1,000 people out here. Where in the world did we find a mouth guard? I have no idea. So, by the grace of God being present right there, by His grace, I'm going to tell you this. There was a gentleman who worked at a local school within a 5-minute walk of that field, and he went into his equipment room and he pulled out an additional mouth guard. And that school was Mumford. Okay, it was in Mumford, Tennessee, was where that was. And so, I made it a point to myself not to ever get caught in a situation without something as valuable as a mouth guard. So when I put that emphasis on the Shock Doctor mouth guards, the multi-packs were under $20. Trust me, pick them things up. Because you need extras, you always got to have them. I can't stress that enough because I definitely learned from that experience. Again, I saw cleats and the speed training for for football gear. That stuff was out there. You had your Under Armour, what was it, the highlight cleats, the MCs. They were 35% off, and of course they had multiple sizes. You had agility ladders, resistance parachutes. You had cone sets, all a part of the bundle. And they were even bundling these things for under $40. So cool, right? And like I even told my wife, I was like, hey, I didn't spend much. I didn't spend much at all. But I did spend some money. I'm not gonna lie, I did spend some money. Practice wear. One of the big things with our kids is they fall down, they get dirty. It's wear and tear. You're constantly washing them. And of course it's wear and tear on the old clothes there. So getting this active wear for the kids. I'm one of those ones where it's okay to have like 7 shirts, because you can wear a shirt one night, you can wear a shirt another night. You can do a load of laundry. Not telling anybody how to do their laundry. I'm just telling you that this is practical for me, right? Because I'm a dad. I do laundry. As my wife is listening to this, she'll tell you that I don't, but I do. I try to help out. I try to be a good husband. I still get in trouble a lot, but I try to be there. Sometimes I crack myself up. But they had youth compression shorts. In addition to the compression shorts, they had the moisture wick. Ben when he starts to run, like I said, with him being a lineman, he doesn't like how some of this stuff kind of just, once you start sweating, especially down here in the southern heat, these shirts just kind of stick to you. So he likes that fabric that kind of remains loose. I guess that's a moisture wick shirt. And then of course they also had practice jerseys. But look, the bundles that are out there, from Adidas and particularly Champion, man, hey, those sports organizations, sports companies have been around for a while, and they're don't see them going anywhere for the foreseeable future. Again, that's just me. I'm not a fortune teller, nor am I a prophet, but with the amount of sports that's going on and the people that are involved, I can see them continuing to maintain their current status. But let me tell you about the deals for the parents, guys. Oh my goodness. So again, I told you about the travel, right? So as we're traveling, we realize real quick, what do you got to have? You got to have your chairs, because some places don't have bleachers. Some places do not have any seating around the home plate at all. So bring yourself a chair, a tent, a canopy. I call it the rock. Some you may have heard that in another segment of mine, but the rock is what we call it. It's a big old American flag canopy that I've got 12 by 12. Awesome thing. Gotta have your canopy. In addition to that, coolers, things of that nature. Coolers, snackle boxes. These are absolutely musts haves if you are going to be the travel parent. Energy banks, right? So little charging docks, things of that nature. Fans, okay, fans. I am a Ryobi tool guy, so therefore I said if I'm going to use Ryobi tools, I'm just going to use Ryobi everything. Invested quite a bit of money in a multi-battery charger with them. I think it's actually 6. It'll charge 6 batteries at a time. And so spent quite a bit of money on doing that, so all the batteries are charged, and we can keep it moving. But I got Ryobi fans, and so with that being said, and this has nothing to do with Amazon Prime Day, I'm going off on a tangent, and that's okay. But these Ryobi fans, you got to have this stuff. So as a parent, you got to prepare yourself, because it does get hot. You got to have these things. It does get cold. You got to have gear to protect yourself. I learned really really quickly with this the spring ball that we just got done with. I learned with spring ball that with the canopy, the sun will shine in from time to time. So you might have to have, canopy droppers to where you can, have some shade. And give yourself some relief. Because let me tell you, when it's 93 degrees outside and it's 65 degrees or 60% humidity, and that sun's beating down on you, and you've experienced that sun beating down on you, for 5 hours or 6 hours on a Saturday, you start to get a little your level of agitation, is on up there. Okay, so you got to have a way to take all this stuff and move it around. First things first, a wagon. Timber Ridge, I stand beside Timber Ridge. Yes, I will stamp on that. I will vouch for them. Timber Ridge has taken care of me. I got my Beast wagon from them. I actually did a a full-fledged, product review on them over the weekend. What a fantastic organization. So Timber Ridge, they had their Mac and Mac Sports had wagons up for 50% off, and those are absolute must-haves for tournament weekends. Absolute must-haves. In addition to that, they had cooling towels. They had 6-packs going for $11.99. Stick those in your cooler, and then of course, it'll keep you from melting at the fields. All right. Did not see any Ryobi fans out there on the Amazon Prime Day deal or the Prime deals, but that's something else that we can talk about and you potentially invest in, or you need to invest in. See a lot of DeWalt fans too, or fans, when we're out there, DeWalt fans. Portable, canopies, Coleman, Core, they had the instant tent pop-ups. Those were slashed to under $85. Be mindful, on some of those can be a little tricky with the setup. I've got my bias towards the square tent, and of course everything kind of elevates. Blah 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 blah. It's pretty simple. I don't gravitate towards the poles that stick way out in the ground. But to each his own. So explore whatever's best. So today was a good day with the deals. I really look forward to what's going to happen tomorrow. We'll possibly do a follow-up on the Amazon deal days, and this could potentially be a multi-segment opportunity. But it's powerful because yet again we used the Amazon deal days as a way to benefit the family by looking at the bundles and getting access to stuff that was slightly cheaper than what it would normally be. So these things are really helpful. Let's do this. So unfortunately, listeners of the podcast proper, once this goes to PodBean, you won't be able to see the views or anything. However, what we can do is we can go to our scene here. So now we see our Amazon Prime deals. So for those that are at home, you want to get in this stuff. Okay, first things first, you can go to the tab right underneath. It's literally right up underneath the search bar, right? So you go to Amazon Prime Day deals. You can access it this way. Electronics are in there. That's really cool. Headphones. We've actually got a pair of headphones for all of the kids for when they ride home. That way they're not bickering, they're not griping, and they're not complaining. They've got their headphones on and they can jam out. And of course, my wife and I we actually can ride home in peace. But really, after a long day, they're already tired and hot and stink, and they're ready to go to sleep anyway. So you've got a couple of options here. How I normally do it is I'll just simply go to the search bar, and as I'm in the search bar, I will go in and I will type in, softball and baseball gear. Okay. It's going to immediately come up. Check out Rawlings is already on there. It's already talking about its limited time, and don't miss out. Look, another bat right here, exclusive prime price. Um, this bat is in fact, let's see, exclusive prime price. It's a Rawlings Chaos bat. It's a 11 drop, 2 and 5/8 inch barrel. Okay. More information. Make sure you're reading these descriptions. Oh, but check out the other bats here. Here's that Louisville Slugger 2023 Vapor, $59. You've also got the the De Marini right here, 2022 Uprising Youth Baseball Bat, $79. Wow, just absolutely phenomenal. The look at and some of these bats and the prices that they are. You're going to notice that they're Prime Day deals because it's going to have the red Prime Day deal up underneath it. If it's time bound, it'll say, like I said, earlier, if it's time bound, it's going to let you know that it's a limited time deal. And in addition to that, if it's an opportunity, well, not an opportunity, but if it is a like shirts, for example, if they have 5,000 shirts and 40% of them gone, it will indicate how many are already gone. So that's definitely a plus. So yeah, folks, bats are out here. Oh my goodness! I mean, look, the deals have changed already. This is amazing. The 6x6 baseball, softball practice nets, batting tee, ball caddy, bonus strike zone. This is a bundle right here, all for $59.48. And guess what? If you're a Prime member, which if you're looking at this, if you could, with Prime Day, you might be enticed to become a Prime member. But if you are one, it does have free delivery by July 15th. So, fantastic stuff here, right? Let's see. Oh goodness, eye black. The players like to put the eye black on both football, baseball, softball. This stuff is readily available. This is a Prime Day deal. Bases, home plate, practice bases. It's listed as a bestseller. Absolutely amazing stuff. I know that I also got the Skills Hurricane batting swing trainer. There was one that was mentioned earlier that was an actual hanging ball. However, I didn't go with that one right there. Instead, I did go with the Skills Hurricane batting swing trainer for baseball and softball. This is that swing arm. You had pitching machines that were on there earlier today as well. So you guys make sure you're checking this stuff out. And for those who don't like the sun directly in their eyes, as of right now, there is a Prime Day deal that's going on. The youth baseball sunglasses for boys, girls, ages 8 through 14, they're definitely out there. Check them out and give that a go. Easton, again, bat weights. Those are things that are not Prime Day deals. These items are going to make their way into the Prime Day deal page to where you're looking at it. I brought up earlier that you had the Spark Catch. Okay, this is that light up, the dark fast pitch or glow in the dark fast pitch softball for girls. You could get 12 of them. Okay, 12 for it appears to be $29.99. They have the reaction balls for baseball and softball reflex and the agility trainer. Duffel bags, Rawlings duffel bags that are out there, Prime Deal Day, equipment bags, things of that nature. $31.44 for that. So yeah, these are some really good deals, folks, and absolutely worth trying to get out here and take advantage of this. If you're looking for brands, again, these are top tier brands, right? Rawlings, Skills, Easton, Wilson. These things are all out here for you to take a gander at. If it is a Prime Day deal, check it out. It's going to have the red label on there, and then, like I said, if it's time bound, it'll let you know. If it's quantity bound, it'll also let you know how much they have, or how much is left, based off the numbers there. That's going to be a wrap for today. This Prime Day special. If you heard something today that actually caught your eye, check the episode description for links to the top deal or deals. And remember, some of these go pretty fast, and Amazon rotates them in and out. So check back every few hours. I know that I do during this time frame. But hey, listen, if this has helped you out in any way, share this episode with your team parents, your travel ball friends, or in your Facebook groups. Tag us on the socials at Seams and Downs. We're on Facebook. We're out there on Instagram. We're out there on Twitter. We're out there on YouTube. And let us know what you snagged. I really want to know, and what's beneficial. I would like to, I'd like to hear more from the audience. And don't forget that every time you shop through our links, you support Seams and Downs. This is important to me, and this is of interest to me, and I want to bring this to you, so that you get something out of it, and that is my mission. I want you to get something out of this. So don't forget, every time you shop through our links, you support Seams and Downs, and you help us keep creating real content for real families that have their kids in sports. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me tonight. I certainly appreciate this. Now go fill your cart. Thanks a lot.